Hi everyone, welcome to another video. So today, let's go over our quote of the day. It's going to be Mark chapter 16, verse 15. He said to them, "Go into all the world and preach the gospel to all creation." Okay, so that's our quote of the day, and let's get started. So our topic for today we'll be covering is working with the PSCmdlet, and let's see how this goes. So the PSCmdlet is like an automatic variable. So that's what Powershell uses to provide access to commandlets or like advanced function context. So it's available only in advanced functions. So functions using like the commandlet binding. So I can just show you that quickly here. So like this is what I mean by commandlet binding, or the param. And so those blocks are, in commandlets. So the variable allows you to like interact with like the commandlet runtime and then the access features like parameter binding, output streams, and command metadata. So like the key features, they provide access to the current commandlet runtime environments. They allow you to interact with parameter bindings, writing outputs and handle streams, and they also expose methods like the write object, the write verbals, the write errors, etc. And I think the last key feature is they allow you to query parameters and determine like what has been bounded. So we could get started with an example here. Now we kind of covered it a little bit yesterday. So pretty much to use like the PSCmdlet, you kind of have to create like an advanced function, which is what we kind of did in yesterday's video. I'll try to create a simpler one than this. So this, just to let you know, this yesterday we were covering like how to create dynamic parameters. But it also incorporated the PSCmdlet here. So I'll just let me do this over so that way we could kind of understand it better. But this was just based on the last video of creating dynamic parameters. Okay, so first we have to kind of we're going to create a function, and this function will be like, okay, we could just maybe call it test PSCmdlet. All right, so and then we open our curly braces to, this is how we create our function, and then we call the commandlet binding like how we just saw earlier. So I know I should have maybe just kept that back, but that's okay. So commandlet binding, and then you're gonna put the open close braces there and then close it off with a square bracket. Okay, and then so now this is where commandlet, just making sure my spelling is good. Binding, okay, yeah, that looks good. And now we could declare our param. So, and how you do that, this is how we put it out. So it's supposed to be the normal brackets like that. And then now we could set our parameters and like what we wanted to do. So I'm gonna put like a mandatory parameter here. So and we also have a video on this, like how to do validations on parameters. So this is what we're actually adding a validation rule on the parameter. So we set the parameter, and then you would just call it mandatory, because I want it to be mandatory, meaning that it's required, and equals true. All right, so we haven't declared a parameter yet. This is just the rule. So we normally put it above the actual input that you want that rule to apply to. So now we're gonna actually do the actual parameter name. So first we declare the type, which is a string, and then I'll just call it name here. Okay, so now we finished with that, and then we're gonna create our process section code block here, and then we'll call the function afterwards. So let's say, okay, so now we do our process code block here, and then you would just open it up with the curly brackets. All right, and then what we want to do, we'll just do something simple as write host, right? and then we'll say command name. And then you put the PSCmdlet. And then it'll be my invocation. And then it'll be, you could also say my command. All right, and then we will do another line here. So this will call the PSCmdlet again. All right, and then we do write verbose. Okay. And then we'll put in our message. All right, and then I think that's the end of our function. So just make sure you have your brackets there. So if you kind of like wrote it out this way, where you kept putting the open and closing brackets and curly braces, etc., you kind of don't have to worry about keep worrying if you kind of ended it correctly in the right places. So you can see we kind of like have our brackets correctly done, like for the parameters, for the process, and then for the actual function. So that should be good. So what do we do next? Then we'll call the actual function itself. So this is where you put the actual command where you want to call the function from. So normally if you declare it update, it should be, if you use a tool like this, the Visual Code, it, and most tools do it, where the IntelliSense will give you the function name as an option. So but if you don't, you just have to type the whole thing, which is not a big deal. And then yeah, and now we put our name parameter. It could be anything, so I'll just put PowerShell for now. And then we'll just now we want to invoke the verbose, so you put that parameter verbose there, and that should be it. So you pretty much accessing the the PowerShell commandlet variable, which provides access to the right verbose, and it does the invocation there. Yeah, and now let's take a look and see how this works. There you go. So we kind of got our verbose output for PowerShell, and what we did was we used the parameter name. So if you go through the code here, you could see it was expecting sorry, yeah. So this is our function here. It's expecting a parameter of name. So this name parameter, you need to kind of set what value you want for this. So, and then it'll assign it to the name variable, and then it opens, then it will run this process code block, which will actually run the command, which you can see how here we kind of printed out to the screen the command that we're running, which was that function name. So this is pretty much the function name for that invocation, and then we're actually writing the verbose. That's why it kind of showed up in a different color. So verbose kind of has if you use the native verbose command, it actually will come up as a different color here. So we kind of like call that verbose, kind of similar to a write host, except just for verbose. But and then you actually put it here, and then whatever that was in the name variable, we put in here as well, and then that output to the screen, and that's how it works. So just to let you know, so this is like pretty much the output stream that the PSCmdlet variable allows you to access, and you could also use it for others. So there are other ways to do it. If you didn't want to use the verbose, you could use like the write error, the write warning, write objects, write debug, write information, and write progress. Let me try to type that on, like type the meanings of it here, so that way you guys could see. We won't cover all of them today because I'm trying to make the video kind of short. So let me get it out there. Let me put the list out here for you. Okay, so this is the list here. So the list is going to be you use a write object. So this is like the function commandlet. Sorry, the PSCmdlet variable. So this is what you could use to use, and then you choose the function for that output stream. So right now we use the write verbose here, which writes messages to the verbose stream. You could also use the write object, and it gives you the meaning there, write objects to the output stream. The write warning, if you want to write warnings, you could use write warning messages to the warning stream. Write errors to the error stream. I think we kind of see a lot of those. The write debug messages to the debug stream. Then we have write information, which is writes messages to the information stream, and the write progress displays a progress bar in the console. So these are the other options you have for that from that PSCmdlet variable. So that provides you the method to interact with the PowerShell output streams. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. I wouldn't do, it's pretty much, you could invoke them pretty much almost the same way wherever you want it in your code to like invoke those PSCmdlets. All right, so don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's close off with our quote of the day. So it's going to be Mark chapter 16 verse 15. He said to them, "Go into all the world and preach the gospel to all creation." All right, so don't forget to read the Bible, and if you're not going to church, find a good Bible-based church, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.